7.
All right, I have 7 o'clock. We will call the White Bear Township Board meeting for June 2nd, 2025 to order. First item on the agenda is the approval. The board has suggested we add agenda 9A to change the June executive meeting, to move it up a week. Steve will be gone, so I think it was the 20th, Steve?
Yeah, move it to June 20.
Hope we can change that for our notice.
But still comply with the consent agenda request for rescheduling it to, oh, didn't we put that on there?
Yeah, it is. It's
Yeah,
B.
we're putting it at the old Township Hall.
Right.
Yep.
So we're just changing the date on that one.
Yep.
Well, that's when it's going at the old Township Hall?
Yep.
Okay.
All
Figured we,
right, staff have anything?
no, nothing from staff.
Anything else from the board?
Nope.
All right, I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right, item 3 is approval of payment of the bills. You sign off, Steve?
I did move to approve payment of the bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Item 4 is the approval of the prior minutes from May 19th. Anybody got any changes or corrections?
I do, Mr. Chair. On page 7 of the minutes of our packet, 7 of 213, it says the applicant for the Park 35 project is Evan Matson, and I think that should be changed to Endeavor.
Oh, good catch.
And I don't know if that's the right address either for
I'll
Endeavor.
confirm on both.
So, yeah, update both. I think that's Evan's address he gave at the meeting.
Okay.
All right, that it, Steve?
That's it. Oh, nope, in the same paragraph, it says he introduced Mark Crombeck, who is the lead architect on the project. He is only the landscape architect. I think that needs to be
Same paragraph?
same paragraph. And outside of that, that's it.
Okay.
So
Got anything, Beth?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the adjusted minutes from the prior meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? All right, that carries. Item 5 is a consent agenda. There are 4 of them. Does the board wish to run this, or you want to pull any of them?
I'm good as long as 5B is noted as changed, and we discussed that already, so I'm fine.
All right, so I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. All right, let's see, item 6, we have no old business. 7 is public hearings we have done, so we'll go right to 8A. This is the 5029 Otter Lake Road for an oversized garage approval request. CJ, you gonna go over this for us?
I am. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This request is for an oversized accessory structure in accordance with Ordinance 8, the building code ordinance. This is just a simple approval from the board. It's not necessarily a variance or a formal application that we have a form for, per se. The applicant is proposing to add on to their existing detached garage. The proposed addition would be 22 by 65 feet, totaling 1,430 square feet for that structure. The existing garage is only 768 square feet. The proposed addition would be for personal vehicles and personal property storage. Garages are regulated under Section 529 of the Township Ordinance, stating that a permit is needed for individual garages exceeding 1,000 square feet, and they can be no larger than 2,500 square feet. This is met. The proposal is for 1,430 square feet. Approval shall be obtained from the board after review and recommendation by the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission did review the request at the April 24th meeting and recommended approval of the request. Conversation centered around building materials, so the roof and the facade. The applicant shared that it would be consistent with that of the principal structure and that the accessory structure would be no taller than the principal home on the building, which is also required by Ordinance 8. The property is over half an acre in size, and it's adjacent to the Tamarack Nature Center, which is zoned as open space. This is also a requirement for this approval, that the property needs to be abutting open space development or agricultural zoning in order to approve an oversized structure like this. Ordinance 8 was originally adopted in 1956 and has been amended many, many times. The last amendment in 2017, which established that maximum allowance of 2,500 square feet for accessory structures. As I noted previously, the requirements for size and location are met. In addition, setbacks and impervious surface, all lot requirements are met as well. Staff sent the projects to other agencies. The Watershed Management Association had no comments regarding the request. Ramsey County has not sent any comments. The building inspector confirmed that the corners were staked, so the setbacks and impervious surface coverage are accurate, as you see before you, and Public Works and Engineering had no comments. Tonight, you can approve the request with or without any conditions. You can deny the request with findings for denial, or you can table the request for further study. The Planning Commission recommends approval of the request for an oversized accessory structure at 5029 Otter Lake Road, with the conditions that the structure shall be constructed in accordance to the site plan that was received on March 14th of this year and reviewed with the request. The applicant shall acquire any other federal, state, and local permits. They shall adhere to federal, state, and local ordinances, and they shall pay all fees and escrows associated with the project. Thus far, they have. Do you have any questions?
Beth, any questions, comments?
No, not at all.
Steve, were you at the?
I was at the Planning Commission meeting, and they thoroughly went through that. Although I didn't write a note down. Did you remember, was there discussion that they absolutely cannot use this for commercial rental property?
That would be accurate, yes.
Because 2 doors down, we had agreed to a larger structure, and we had little issues of rental space. But, so the applicant is that something we should put a condition on, that it cannot be used for commercial rental?
Well, in this resolution, item 3 says the proposed structure would be used by personal vehicle storage. Now, I don't know, is that good enough language, Chad?
It is.
Okay. I withdraw my question.
The resolution before you, board members, is given to you in person today because the one on the website is inaccurate. It was uploaded by mistake or falsely, but I will give Chad this as well.
Okay, that satisfies my question.
8 days, Chad, if you need it.
Do we need that noted for the record?
Yeah. I got it in front of me here.
So this, CJ, this number up in the top corner, 2543, does that refer to this resolution? That number?
Yes, that would be the proper resolution number.
Okay.
Looking for motion?
You didn't have any other comments,
No.
Steve?
It was pretty straightforward. They didn't really have issues with this one.
All right, then I need a motion for approval of this resolution.
I'll move to approve Resolution 25-43 for approving an oversized accessory structure for 5029 Otter Lake Road.
I'll second.
Motion made second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that motion carries. Okay, item 8B is a 5350 Highway 61 North. This is a permitted use standards report, Iron Heart Pro Wrestling.
Yes, Mr. Chair, may I add that the applicant from the approved resolution is here tonight if you want to,
Okay.
if they need to say anything. Okay, before you is an application for a permitted use standard permit for Ironheart Pro Wrestling for a wrestling studio located at 5350 Highway 61 North, suite number 10, within the B2 General Business District. The application for a wrestling studio isn't explicit in the zoning ordinance, but a similar use called fitness center is applicable to what they're looking to do. The Midwest GIR Group owns the building in which the wrestling studio would go into. The property includes one building with 10 suites, each leased to different tenants. They're looking to lease suite number 10, which is the southwest corner of the building. The proposed use is to teach wrestling, and it'll be an event venue for periodic live wrestling events on Saturday evenings. The applicant noted at the Planning Commission that these would be from about 6:30 to 9 p.m., but they may go a little later. The wrestling studio will be about 3,667 square feet in size. The expected hours would be weekday evening, 6:30 to 10:30 p.m., and as stated, about one Saturday per month, starting around 6 p.m. as well. 9 patrons are expected to visit per day. The applicants have also addressed noise, stating that they might play light music or no music at all. On Saturday nights, it'd be on par with maybe a high school basketball game within the building. You may hear it from the parking lot, but not any further, they say. In the zoning ordinance, fitness center is defined as a place with facilities and equipment for people to maintain or improve their physical fitness. It is permitted. It's permitted use number 22 in the B-2 district. There are no parking minimums set for fitness centers. The similar uses with parking standards didn't necessarily fit. The closest would be a dance studio or dance club, so to speak, but that's expecting people next to each other. There was a significant amount of parking required for that. The applicant does state that they haven't asked for exclusive access to the parking spots, but there are 20 plus parking spots on the south side, which should accommodate the business's needs.
I have an update on that, actually.
We'll get to you in a second.
Get to you.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Section 9-3 goes over all the permitted use standards listed in your packet and in the zoning ordinance. Those would all be adopted as part of the permit, stating that, for example, the use shall avoid aesthetic incompatibility, erosion of soil, increased flood potential. These would all be met because the applicant is not looking to do any exterior renovations or disturb any of the land. The town board has the following options. They can approve the request with or without conditions, deny with findings for denial, or table the request for further review and study by the applicant or staff. The Planning Commission did recommend approval at the 5/22/25 meeting with the following conditions: that the warehouse map dated 4/22/25 and the certificate of survey dated 1/26/24 shall be incorporated into the permit by reference. The applicant on the permit shall read Ironheart Pro Wrestling. The applicants shall allow inspection by the township building inspector to ensure compliance with all township ordinances, and that they should adhere to all federal, state, local laws, permitting, and all fee and escrows must be provided with the request. Much of the Planning Commission's conversation was centered around the parking and the access to the parking lot and how that would be impacted with events. There was also conversation about proper fire inspection for during those events, proper evacuation, and the building inspector has noted that it would need to be reviewed for proper exit and entrance, as well as access to the restrooms may need to be improved. A resolution for approval is included within your packet with all of the things I just mentioned.
All right, Beth, questions, comments?
Yeah, is there going to be any conflict with Eagle Brook?
As for traffic,
No, yeah, well,
Saturday
for
nights?
events, yeah.
I'm not sure how the traffic would be impacted on Saturday nights. I'm not sure what Eagle Brook's event schedule looks like.
I was just curious
you're
because
familiar.
it's quite busy there.
Yes.
They usually have a sheriff that directs traffic. Then you address the parking issue. I thought this was a storage place, but they've changed it.
They have.
Okay,
Yep, so that's why the new permitted use standard is
Okay.
required.
I think that was it.
Steve?
Yeah, to follow up on what Beth asked, I think the issue was if they exit out on to Buffalo, but more than likely, based off what the scene where they'd exit to northwest or whatever that road.
It's northwest, yeah.
Yeah, northwest.
Okay.
There was the question of the exits. Is that going to be addressed in the resolution? Did I see that or did not see the concerns on the entrance and two entrances? You said the fire marshal has some issues. Is that just understood, or is that something that needs to get resolved before this?
We don't have it as a as a condition of approval. It was discussed in conversation with Mike Johnson, building inspector, that inspection is necessary to address potential issues with the exits.
I think it needs to be included only from the standpoint that you're going to have a public event there at some point, and that needs to be resolved before we have any public activities going on there, I think, so.
When you asked the, oh, I'm sorry, Ed.
No, I was just curious, Chad, is that something we can force them to do on traffic control or not?
Well, traffic control, I wasn't.
Well, this is a permitted use, so I don't think I don't think so.
I wasn't really talking about the permitted, I think the use of it, it's the physical structure that I'm concerned over, the access and entrance, escape from the building. The question was, are there two exits? Yes. And I don't know if that was cleared up, because she said the fire marshal hasn't.
The building inspector would, for any use in there, would need to get in there.
We're just talking
And
about
I think,
permitted
and I'm
use.
pretty sure the building inspector would coordinate with fire based on our conversation.
That really is independent of the.
Yeah, that's independent of this, I realize that now, so.
And the 20 spots were enough for parking?
We'll get to you in a minute, okay? We won't pick you up on the mic or the camera, so we need to wait a minute.
In response to your question, the applicant is here and can answer when you guys are ready.
All right, CJ, is this similar to, I don't know, do we have karate in our ordinances? Karate or
Yes, there's something similar to that.
what's the ultimate fighting training or whatever it's called?
Where's that located?
I'm just curious if that falls into the same bracket.
The ordinances gets very specific about the uses, so it's hard to generalize them. But in the B2 district, there is a conditional use for I'll change that, a permitted use for a sporting goods store, indoor batting cages, fitness center, design studio, dance studio.
I'm just curious, now we're going over all our ordinances, if that's something we should look at to maybe just add those so we don't have this
Specify it.
conflict. And that, and I don't know what they're called, AEDs, automatic defibrillators, is that something that should be in something like a sporting event or a gymnastics class or something? Is that something we regulate? Or
I would
that be
assume
fire?
that'd be regulated by,
It's more of a
State.
health issue in the state, yes.
All right, well, that may be a question for the applicant. Anything else from the board for CJ? All right, now you can come up. We need your name and address for the record.
My name is Caitlin Backey. I live at 4222 Xenia Ave North in Robbinsdale, Minnesota.
All right, obviously, we had questioned about the parking. You feel you're comfortable with that amount of parking?
Yeah, I did get clarification. It's 45 formal parking spots on the property. So that should be way more than enough.
And just I'll give you a hint, the neighborhood gets touchy.
Pardon me?
The neighborhood gets a little touchy if their parking is.
If their parking is messed up?
On the streets, if
Yeah.
they park on the street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've dealt with that before.
It's a public street, right?
Yeah, but it's really squeezy back there.
I got you.
Yeah.
We'll try to avoid that as much as possible.
Then, I don't know, I was just out of curiosity, do you have an AED on site? Those kind of events are quite physical. Is that something you guys supply or
The
not?
owner is actually a doctor.
Okay, but that might be something you at least want to think about, maybe having there on site.
Did you say EMT?
No,
AED.
AED.
Defibrillator.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can.
just,
Actually, does your wife have anything like that? No. Okay. We can add that to the list then.
just for your own peace of mind too, so.
Absolutely.
All right, anything else to add? All right, any other questions of the applicant?
No.
All right, thanks, Caitlin.
Thank you, guys.
All right, hearing no other discussion, does the board feel comfortable with the resolution?
It's all inclusive, correct, with everything that CJ had said? It looks like it is when I was going through it.
I'm comfortable. So I'll move to approve the resolution 2544, approving a permitted use standards permit for 5350 Highway 61 North, Suite 10.
I'll second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed. All right, you're off and running. All right, moving on.
Luck.
8C, Public Safety Commission recommendation for Mayhagen Lane traffic management.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so following up a discussion that we've had at both the Safety Commission and with the board, we did do a survey as it reflects the neighborhood's attitude towards a three-way stop or other solutions to traffic controls there. We sent these two questions out to 22 residents that we went off of our email from our utility billing. First question was, are you in favor of a three-way stop at Peterson Road and Mayhagen Lane? As you can see, that one was pretty tight, but the yeses were the majority there. And then second question was, are you in favor of traffic control signage such as no through traffic or slow? And you can see overwhelmingly the tenor of the neighborhood is in favor of having something along those lines. The Safety Commission recommended doing a slow traffic sign on Mayhagen Lane in response to some of the concerns back there. They did not, or they declined to do a three-way stop based upon how close the vote was. So what they are looking for tonight is the board to either go along with this recommendation or deny. If you're in favor of it, Public Works will work out the best place possible for the no through traffic or slow, probably is slow. So I would open that up for your discussion if you'd like.
Well, full disclosure, I live on Peterson, which I'm directly affected by these modifications that they want to do. So I don't know, Chad, you think I should probably abstain from this?
No, I don't think you need to.
Okay,
It's not a financial issue at all.
all right. Because I've lived there for 20 years and I don't see any reason to change what we have. Now, I know most of this is generated by the Mayhagen project, but the people on Peterson are the ones that are most affected by the stop sign.
Stop signs, yep. And as you can see, the Safety Commission wasn't in favor of the
Right.
stop sign.
Several of the members were actually driving it and didn't see a reason to do it, actually.
Well, the problem
Especially
is,
after the public hearing.
and the Ramsey County Sheriff's pretty much admitted stop signs don't slow people down.
And whenever we ask, they tell
Actually,
us
it
no.
makes them mad.
Yeah. Yep.
Steve, questions, comments?
Not on the stop sign. I don't think it's necessary.
Okay. So you don't have to do, I don't think they have to do anything if they, or no, they should probably say that they're not in favor of,
Yes,
okay. You're not in favor of it.
we should, yeah,
Okay.
adopt a motion, either expressing your position on the issue.
Yeah, for clarification, there was two parts to this, the stop sign or the slope sign.
Traffic control.
Yep.
Right.
So
So
we're just addressing stop signs at the moment?
right
or-
now, stop signs.
fine.
Say that you would agree with the Safety Commission's recommendation not to do three-way stop.
All right,
I'll make that motion. I'll make the motion that we not consider a stop sign at is it Hagan Lane, and I forget the cross street,
Peterson.
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 All right, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And then the next one is traffic control signage. What do they exactly mean by that? I mean,
A sign that says slow.
that's it? No, not children, not,
The commission was pretty specific about just wanting the slow sign,
What
correct?
about the little green men? I don't know that we discussed the little green guys that hold the
I don't think we did that specifically. I think what we're supposed to do is we're putting the slow sign in, we're gonna observe its effect on traffic through there. And then if we had to make some decisions or augment it, we would.
what is that, on Peterson or Mayhagen?
And that's what we need to figure out where it's gonna have the most impact and through that way.
Okay, because there was discussion that somebody's using that for cut-throughs. Well, it doesn't make much sense because you still have a stop sign both ways, and now you're impeded by, on Centerville Road in Mayhagen, you only have the stop sign, which means you have to wait. So this idea of people are cutting through to try to skip the intersection of Centerville and H2 doesn't seem to make any sense. So that's why with slow traffic, I think that's what they're trying to avoid.
The construction that's gonna go on, you think that's gonna make it a different issue?
Probably not.
Okay.
That's going to be a mess no matter what.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, is that something Public Works would do?
Yep.
So we just make a motion to install a slow traffic sign at Peterson and Mahagan?
I guess I don't have a problem with that.
On both roads? Both ways?
I don't know. Is it, yeah, I
Probably
guess
should.
It probably doesn't matter. Yeah, I suppose.
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. I'll make a motion to install a slow traffic sign on both Peterson and Mahagan.
I'll second that.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed?
Thanks,
Okay.
board.
All right, moving on, we have Public Safety Commission recommendation, Stillwater Street and Bald Eagle Avenue. This is for,
And actually, this one might be a little bit cart before the horse. I kept it on the agenda in case we were going to have time to look at the data, but we didn't get data out to Public Safety Commission until its meeting coming up. So the data about what, and you saw it in
Yep,
your
I did.
packet. Yep. So we're going to analyze that this Thursday, come back with a recommendation whether to proceed or not with that one. So I am
wanna
not
table
asking
it?
for, what's that?
We should table it?
Table it. Yep.
well, that's easy enough.
Yep.
Beth?
We'll make a motion to table it.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
All right, motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, last one we have here is Public Safety Commission.
Nope, we just did that
Oh,
one.
sorry, just did that. Da-da-da-da. Oh, added agenda items. We just had to make sure that consent agenda was modified.
To show the executive committee will be on June 20th or 2025, beginning at 8 a.m. at the Old Township Hall at Polar Lakes Park, correct?
Do we need a formal motion to change that?
Chad?
Yes, you should, because it's a
Public
regular
hearing.
meeting date is
Yeah.
the fourth Friday.
I'll move to move the executive meeting schedule for the month of June to June 20th, 2025 at 8 a.m. at the Old Town Hall.
I'll second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Is someone from the Historical Society going to be there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Sarah will be there.
All right, well, it's good PR, to at least let the public see that. I don't, would we be able to? No, never mind. All right, we have no other agenda items. Open time. Anyone wish to speak? Come on up to the podium. We need a name and address.
Hi, my name is TJ Farnham.
What was it?
TJ Farnham.
Okay.
At 5767 Lake Avenue. I've been talking with both CJ and Chad about, to give you a little background, we're right on my wife and I are right on Bald Eagle Lake. We're 50-foot wide by 150-foot long property. That's kind of how they all are in that area. And so we have the house, and then we have in front of that a garage. And so that garage is, what was it, CJ? A legally non-conforming structure. Okay. So what we would like to do, because as I have one child here and the other child my wife took home, we would like to add an addition. So we want to add some space on top of the garage. And so the way that with the current ordinance is written, you can't expand the garage because it's non-conforming. And so expand in this case, I think we've decided is in any direction, right? That's vertical, horizontal, anywhere. So I guess I'm seeking a little bit of advice, maybe a little bit of how do I add space there without tearing down the garage and making it a conforming structure? Because we're about 3 feet from the property line. Our neighbor's also about 3 feet from the property line with their garage. It's just everybody's stacked in that way. So to be conforming, we'd have to be 6 feet, I want to say.
It's a percentage of the undersized lot. It's usually between 5 and 6 feet, you're right.
Yeah, I think you emailed like 6 feet, I thought.
Yeah, that's correct. With undersized lots, it's 60% of the requirement, so it'd be about 6 feet.
CJ, have you talked to Mike about this one or not?
I've not talked to Mike about it.
He's our building
Well,
inspector.
actually, Mike is aware of it. I believe the resident has talked to Mike. Have you talked? I
have not talked to Mike.
Okay.
No.
Well,
Not for this project. When when I finished the basement, I talked to Mike, but
Gotcha. Mike hasn't been in conversation. I have talked to Chad about it. Our ordinance, as we discussed briefly in the executive meeting, this is one of the resident inquiries that kind of triggered us noticing that we should in the future update our zoning ordinance section regarding non-conforming uses. The state does allow, and Chad, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, the state does allow that townships and cities can adopt an ordinance saying variances to the non-conforming uses could happen.
Actually, it says the statute allows a municipality to allow for expansion of non-conforming uses. And how you expand the non-conforming use is open to the town. You could do that as a variance, conditional use permit, some other. You could establish, some set of criteria, but it's up to the town to decide how they want to do it, if you want to do it.
And in the current ordinance, it states that a non-conforming use permit can be received, but not for single-family residential properties and accessory buildings. So I guess options would be zoning ordinance amendment. Otherwise, it's not plausible for this property.
So that would be our pathway versus having just individual applications and variances?
Well, that's the problem. You can't have individual variances because your ordinance does not allow for expansion of non-conforming uses, and the statute's clear. You cannot expand a non-conforming use unless the local ordinance allows it. So you're going to really have to amend the non-conforming use ordinance. And it really should be straightened out anyway, because I am a little uncomfortable with this non-conforming use permit, because non-conforming uses, permitted non-conforming uses, which you are, they're legal, they're constitutional property rights. There's no way the only way you can end a permitted non-conforming use either burns down, they don't rebuild, use stops for a year, or you condemn it and pay them the actual value. So really, I think you need to look at the statute, because
Is this something that should maybe
the ordinance, I should
go
say.
to the planning commission for review on?
It's going to have to, because you're amending the zoning ordinance, so it has to start
But
there.
at least they can do an overview of the town. I know the township's full of these little pocket areas that were lake cabins or whatever, so there's a lot of areas that are affected by this. And we have to be careful, because for one applicant, we may start a trail of 10 right behind you, so.
yeah, and from my perspective, it's just this winter became abundantly clear that we need more space with my two boys wrestling each other all the time, and so it's just like, well, where do we add space? And the only spot that we can really add space is over the garage, and that's something that a lot of our neighbors have done. So yeah, it's just kind of a how do I make that happen, right, within the confines of what's allowed. And if at the end of the day the answer is you have to tear it down, move it over 3 feet, and rebuild it, that's what we'll do, right? I mean, that's fine. It's just if we don't have to do that, if we can just build up, then we'll just build up, right? I mean, that's the cheaper option. Not that you guys care about my finances, but that's the cheaper option.
The biggest thing too is, even if it wasn't non-conforming, when we see additions or alterations to the property, we like to see them have less impact. So even if you're going up, we would want to see them come in, get rid of that 3-foot setback. So it gets a little more complicated too for you then.
Yep.
But CJ said we're reviewing a lot of our ordinances now just because of these situations. And I don't know, CJ, how far down the list is that one? We've got a bunch.
That one's high on the list. At the executive meeting last week, we went over 3 or 4 options, and that was number one priority.
What the hell?
And given the number of non-conforming uses in the township around Bald Eagle, this really should be your top.
I believe there are 3 residents around Bald Eagle that I've spoke to in the last 2 weeks
And we saw a
about a non-conforming use,
major expansion
including
on Hugo
TJ.
Road. Those houses, they kind of just blew up, and it was a big deal. And we caught a lot of heat from it too, though. But so if it's already on our radar and we're going to be looking at this, I would suggest you just kind of hold tight till we at least have a chance to review this and see what they come up with. Planning Commission will look at it, and then if they have recommendations, they'll come back to us.
Okay.
And that'll affect you directly, obviously.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, from my perspective, is there, what kind of time frame are we looking at type thing? Just,
Well, that's a tough one.
right. It's just kind of a matter of like when, when does quote unquote the shovel hit the ground type
Right.
thing to start this? Am I a
Just,
month out, 2 months out, 6 months out?
I'd suggest you simply stay in touch with CJ, talk to us about, CJ or myself, once a month. We'll update you where you stand.
Okay.
I know, I understand what you're saying. I appreciate that, but I can't none of us can promise exactly when the planning commission is going to get to
Planning
it.
Commission meets once a month.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's all got to be put together and timed and reviewed and
And this is a matter of CJ going through, a lot of times too, we'll look at surrounding communities, what they're doing too, try to stay conformed with some of them too. Now, it's not that we're going to use those, but we like to see what other communities have done. Well, I don't want to reinvent the wheel here, but if they've got a solution for this problem, we'll look at it.
And this is something we just won't, I'll really withdraw that because I'm not the board. This is something I'd recommend the board and the planning commission look at closely because if you draft it wrong, it's going to create more problems than it solves. So drafting is going to be really important. CJ, what do you think of that?
You do the 57, 67 carve out, then you can just set that aside wherever you want there, right?
It's not allowed.
no.
You haven't tried, but.
Yeah.
But we are looking at it. So
Right.
if you want to keep in touch with CJ, we'll let you know what our progress is.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks.
Yeah, we don't want to see you move out of the township.
Yeah, no, we don't. I mean, we don't want to move. It's like, we love our neighbors. It's like we're right on the lake. I mean, it's like everything's honky dory. We just
More space.
need more space. We just need more space.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, anyone else? Going once? Going twice? All right, number 11, I need a motion to receive agenda materials and supplements.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I need a motion to adjourn at 7:37.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.